Dear Mr. Peter Obi, I am constrained to be the narrator of the day in an attempt to capture the feeling of the moment, the feeling of thousands and millions of Nigerians whom by virtue of human threshold and limitation I cannot express completely nor enunciate completely. You certainly do not know me, and only chance may bring you this video. But you see the evil silence, silencing the deafening scream of millions and thousands of Nigerians buried in corruption, criminality, incompetence, impunity, immunity, theft, and rascality, echo louder than the voices of Nigerian masses whom you have struggled tenaciously to rescue and save from the shackles and shafts of destitution, penury, lamentation, slavery, unrest, inequality, poor governance, poor economy, poor institution, and above all, hardship. Dear Mr. Peter Obi, do not feel that the silence you hear today, if silence can speak, is indicative of the fact that you are responsible for dashing the aspiration and hopes of millions and thousands of Nigerians who once believed in the new Nigerian project and still believe in the new Nigerian projects today. Dear Mr. Peter Obi, do not feel that the silence you hear today, if silence can speak, is indicative that the poor and the helpless are disappointed in your capacity or ability to save them. Dear Mr. Peter Obi, do not feel that the silence you hear, if silence can speak, is indicative that Nigerians have given up on the salvation of Nigeria, nor have we given up on your capacity as a leader, a president of this beloved country someday in the future. Dear Mr. Peter Obi, the silence you hear today is the realization of the fact that we have come to the realization of the depth of corruption, the network, the connectivity of evil that you have always fought to stand against, and you are still standing against it today. Dear Mr. Peter Obi, the silence you hear today reverberates the future in today's eye and interrogates murmur in our minds on the way forward. The silence you hear today, Mr. Peter Obi, the silence asks the Nigerian masses, is this the end of the struggle for the soul and the salvation of Nigeria? Is this the reason for the end start? Is this the end of the struggle for the future unborn? Dear Mr. Peter Obi, the silence seeks to unravel the detail, the network, the connectivity of the evil and demonized chains that have cloaks and bondage the judiciary, the executive, and the legislature of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Dear Mr. Peter Obi, the silence you hear today question the constitution of my beloved country in its capacity to remain as omniscient and omnipotent of law and order, of do's and don'ts, of pros and cons, rights and obligations of an average Nigerian citizen. Dear Mr. Peter Obi, the silence you hear is seeking for an explanation to the question if the Constitution can only be interpreted by a few, and correctly so by a few, palm grease white cap. Why should all Nigerians not be trained by these few palm grease white hats? Seeing that all Nigerians must abide by the interpretation given to the Constitution by this innocent monster on white and black clothing. Dear Mr. Peter Obi, you see, the silence you hear today seeks to understand why process and technicality invalidates the veracity of a crime, yet a street criminal is judged guilty without inclination of assessment to process and technicality. Dear Mr. Peter Obi, the silence has announced to the Nigerian masses that when their intention is to kill and bury justice on the altar of process and technicality for corruption and power-drunk captains, no matter how careful and precise a submission is, justice will always remain the sacrificial lamb. Dear Mr. Peter Obi, little wonder the captain of the chamber of the dark clouds and his members heralded the creeping out of nefarious character like Reassure of Rivers State, Omoulo of Lagos, and Ekwe of Rivers, among others, who ensured that this agenda, the agenda of winning it at all costs, power is not saved as a la carte, is delivered at all costs, I guess is just surviving, adjusting and surviving. Dear Mr. Peter Obi, please remember that the true measure of leadership is not in the title held, but in the spark ignited by your words, your civility, your strength, your character, your record, your truth, and above all, your stubbornness, your resilience to ensure that Nigeria is rediscovered. Dear Mr. Peter Obi, little wonder Martin Luther King and Mahatma Gandhi didn't need titles, didn't need office, didn't need anything to evoke lasting change from the rotten status quo. They made people see what is possible and made them determined to change it. If there is one thing you have made the average Nigerian to see, is that change is possible. Dear Mr. Peter Obi, you have taught us to discover this. You see, all Nigerians have heard you, we have felt you, we have understood you, we reminisce about you, we understand your pains, we see the passion, we see the pains for your pains for the common Nigerian man, your pains for the common person, drills my spine, drill our spine. We have understood the real system, we have understood what we stand for in Nigeria. The tenacity you showed, Mr. Peter Obi, the ignition to see that this struggle comes to a logical conclusion will grow exponentially till Nigeria is bettered again. Dear Mr. Peter Obi, just like the struggle of Martin Luther King led to the enthronement of Barack Obama as the 44th president of the United States of America and Kamala Harris as the 49th vice president of the United States of America, so shall your struggle, Mr. Peter Obi, someday lead to the rediscovery of there was a country. Children unborn will come to hear the story of the fact that there was one man who stood for the truth and was clean and neat in all ramifications.